Hey guys, check mic. Hey there guys, welcome to my compound live. I am Jonathan. This is a channel where we talk about no, this is a channel where we build assets. We build habits, and of course we build freedom. That will be financial freedom, time freedom for you, me, and anyone else that watches my video. Apology for the error just now. I think I'm just not used to film in my own garden. I kind of figure out I haven't really been utilizing my garden that much. Perhaps it's a good idea just to come out every now and then, just film and make some content in my own garden. By the way guys, I make Bitcoin video almost on a daily basis. Hit the like, hit subscribe. If you love Bitcoin, always drop me a comment. Let me know where you guys are watching from. It's always nice to hear from viewers. I'm a very small content creator with just over 1,000 subscribers, so any like, subscribe can definitely help my content to grow, my channel to grow. Today I want to visit a topic. I want to cover the moment I realized Bitcoin is different. Let's get started. The whole purpose is to come out and film. Initially it was very sunny in the UK where I am right now, in the West Midlands. All of a sudden it just changed. I've got a really huge piece of dark cloud just hovering above me. I reckon it will rain anytime soon. So if it does, we're gonna have to cut short the recording. Let's get started with the first thing that comes into my mind when the moment I realized Bitcoin is different. I think the first time when that actually came to my attention is it wasn't about price anymore. At first, you look at Bitcoin like any other asset. All you'll be thinking about is, can it go up? Then eventually something just clicks. Eventually, you just kind of stop thinking about price anymore. You kind of want to get in to know, why does it even exist? Why does Bitcoin even exist as an asset? Man, I think it's gonna rain soon. You can feel the rain droplets now. I don't think it's even raining because the droplets are pretty big. It's kind of like rain but hail, smaller version, which I think I'm gonna have to move back into the house. This sucks, guys. This sucks. This really sucks. Fine, we're now back indoor. Apology about earlier because it started to rain, which doesn't exactly look like rain. I'm looking at outside of the kitchen right now. It's becoming sunny again. We might move out. We might move out again. Let's not make this interrupt us anymore. The more time you spend learning about the asset itself, trust me guys, eventually it will click. So I think it come to a point that when it click, eventually you start to think about, hang on, it's an asset that's not really managed by a company or by government or dictated by earnings call. A little bit. When you get into buying Nvidia shares, Tesla shares, you start paying a lot of attention on the quarterly earnings call. Then you start to track how many cars is Tesla selling in China over this quarter versus in Europe. Will that actually affect the price of Tesla shares? Once you've gotten into that hurdles, you start to have some realization that this Bitcoin doesn't need permission to exist. It just does. Although it's man-made, it just does. That would be a point where you can reflect on any other assets that you've ever bought. You start to question, is it much safer to get into Bitcoin versus any other assets? That would be the time, the trigger point, that you end up going to do more research on Bitcoin than anything else. At least that's what triggered me to do. That's why I've decided the longer that I start to study about Bitcoin, the longer that I start to study about money, monetary system, the old system versus the new system, the system that we are currently existing in, eventually it's gonna open your eyes. This is kind of like the trigger point. The more I studied and tried to get more understanding about Bitcoin, eventually one thing that really caught on, it's actually the ownership. Ownership of the asset itself actually meant something. Think about it this way, like stocks, you don't actually hold the company's stocks or shares. It's actually held by brokers, like the bank holding your money. You don't actually have access to that money. you still in a way need some permission. Imagine you're going to, so I'm in the UK, so at any point of time, if I want to draw out over £2,000 or £2,500, the bank's going to have a lot of questions. It all comes down to that ownership. Of course, holding assets. I love properties, and I began my journey getting into properties and real estates. Even properties and real estates, it's all tied to some legal system arrangement. In the end, you might seem to think you own that. In reality, there's still a lot of legality things that you need to follow through. In a way, to be frank, you don't really own that. You can't just easily liquidate that and move on to somewhere else. Look at people in the war zone. Look at people in the war zone that want to flee the war zone. Can they easily sell their properties? I think properties around the Middle East definitely fell a lot, 20-30%. And a lot of it's due to the system, the surrounding, right? Start to look at Bitcoin. You hold the key, right? Which sounds crazy, right? Hold the key, essentially these are kind of like that private key that you never ever show anyone else. But to be honest, you don't have to show that key. You just need to remember a few seed phrases. Then essentially you own that Bitcoin. It just sounds crazy, right? This is when I kind of, hey, hang on, right? No one ever told me that I don't really own that money in the bank, or I don't actually own the stocks and shares of that company, until one day you kind of start to learn about this when you get into Bitcoin, because that would be like first time understanding self-custody, like the idea that no one can actually freeze your asset, like what bank can potentially do to your assets, or a squatter can move into your property and seize your asset that way, right? Of course, no one can dilute Bitcoin, because we obviously know the fact that there's only 21 million worth of Bitcoin, right? So no one can actually print more. I hope you guys get it, because not many people get it, but I certainly hope whomever watches, stumble across my video, you guys get it. That's a very, very important thing. That's a very huge thing, in fact, right? No one can dilute Bitcoin. So in a way, it kind of explains why Bitcoin only goes up. Because I actually made another video recently about Bitcoin and the US government debt and so forth. So a little bit like a self-promotion. So you guys should go check the other video. I'll drop that in the description or pinned comment section if I can remember. But anyway, the point here that I'm trying to make is this is kind of like the first asset I've ever truly owned, right? Nothing else that essentially you can just truly own, that you can self-custody. So yes, is one of its kind asset. Guys, look at that. I am glad I came back in. So it definitely is not rain. It's definitely hail. So yeah, I'm back. So another thing that I felt, I get to know about Bitcoin is Bitcoin itself, the asset, it survives every single crashes, right? Oh, which by the way, I used to play the piano, grade 7. I'm not going to play anything today, but all I wanted to talk about is every time when Bitcoin drops, media say it's dead, people start panicking, but it keeps coming back. It's very, very resilient, right? And compared to companies that disappears, trends eventually will fade, right? So we're kind of like not in the data, kind of big data talk anymore. We're moving into AI, right? So things will fade, but not. And the key realization that came eventually is if it hasn't died by now, maybe guys, it just cannot die. It will be like gold, Time I start to uncover about the system that we are living in right now, this is where I kind of see Bitcoin a lot more clearer. The system that I'm talking about is essentially the inflation, the ongoingly money printing, the debt level in the US, in the UK, and around the globe. At some point, you kind of, is Bitcoin risky? And instead, you'll be asking, is fiat currency, the pounds, the dollars, the euros, the yuan, the US dollars, are they actually still safe, right? So look at things like the debt. It's, in the US, the $39 trillion debts, the debt in the UK, the cost of living, the ongoing cost of living keeps on going up. And now with ongoing war, energy prices, oil prices, are, and you can also start to think about the hard work that you put in place. You know, you go to work, you slave off yourself, trying to get some monies here and there, and you start to save that money into banks. And that saving itself loses value over time because of inflation. And the key that eventually come to your attention would be Bitcoin didn't change. My understanding of money did, right? So once you knew about the network effect of Bitcoin, you're going to see Bitcoin so differently because it's not just an asset, it's actually a global network. So people across the world, they carry out mining, they validate all of the transaction for Bitcoin. As well, people around the globe holds Bitcoin. So Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO, right? There's no shutdown button that you can stop it. So in a way, you kind of realize Bitcoin, this isn't a company. This is an infrastructure that's generating all of these tokens. Hey, check it now, the sun comes out. Okay, so this that really got me to have more understanding of Bitcoin is essentially time works differently with Bitcoin, guys. Most investment, short-term mindset, whereas Bitcoin, it will reward long-term holders. So essentially, the you hold, the less you want to sell. It kind of flips the behavior from being a trader to becoming a stacker. Not even an investor, because investor, you kind of want to sell every now and then, but in a way, perspective, you just want to get into stacking more and more of it. Because came to my realization that this is the first asset that punishes impatience. So yes, make sure not the impatient one. So coming back to our earlier conversation about unit bias, that one actually broke for me because the early thinking, I can't afford 1 Bitcoin, or I can't afford 0.1, or I can't afford 0.05 Bitcoin. And eventually you start to get away from that kind of thinking. Later thinking will be, hey, wait, the supply is fixed, right? We're talking 21 million hard cap for Bitcoin. And knowing the fact institutions are entering scarcity, it's essentially becoming real, right? You are essentially competing with the like of Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy, competing to get more Bitcoin. So eventually you're gonna, to the sense, to get away from thinking that Bitcoin is too expensive, but it's a lot more scarce. So this is how I'm seeing Bitcoin as an opportunity, right? Because rather than you chasing for the next opportunity of asset that you need to get into for investment, rather knowing that there's only one asset ultimately that's comparable and outperform any other asset class out there. And by the way, as with Bitcoin, it tends to go to zero anyway, right? So this is where you start to want to build position in one strong asset. And obviously that would be Bitcoin. So yeah, so that you become much more focused in your investment journey. You tend to have a lot more less noise around you for your investment journey. But knowing that you're one of the strongest asset out there, very likely, you're gonna the noise anymore. So in the end, became less about money the more that I interact and get understanding about Bitcoin. And essentially Bitcoin becomes kind of like a framework for thinking. Realization, of Bitcoin didn't just change my portfolio, but it changed how I think of money, how I think of saving, how I think of wealth building, how I think of wealth preservation, and so forth. I think that's a very, very key important lessons that eventually every single one of you will eventually encounter the more that you study and build up your knowledge on Bitcoin. I hope you find that the video useful. If that's the case, hit the like, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comment section where you guys watching from. It's always great to hear from viewers. That's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.